Okay, welcome everyone, and thanks for attending the live session number 107. This is part of the weekly live sessions that I do here every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and where I talk about things related to the engineering qualification validation here in Australia, and also about other subjects related to engineering and jobs as an engineer here in Australia. So it means that for 107 weeks, I am here every week talking about what I hope subjects that are interesting to you. So to help you in your journey to come to Australia and be recognized as an engineer here in Australia. And tonight is going to be part two of this live session, how to apply for an engineering job here in Australia. Part one was last week, and in part one, sorry, I'm going to sneeze. And in part one, we covered about where and how to find engineering jobs here in Australia. And during the week, I've been posting my stories in my Instagram, and I was asking you guys to send me some of the job vacancies for us to have a live tutorial tonight. We are going to show the job vacancy, and then we're going to explore how you can better prepare your CV and your cover letter based on somebody's job vacancy. So I got some. There's no sound in Instagram. I'll put my headset. So hopefully now it's better in Instagram. So if you guys can give me some feedback. Do you guys now can hear me on Instagram? So hopefully now you can. We'll just connect to my Instagram and see if you guys can hear me. Yeah, I think now you can. Yeah. All right. So we'll keep going. So I mentioned that tonight I'm going to be. I chose one of the job vacancies that you guys sent to me and replied to my stories, and I'm going to do like a tutorial highlighting the important things you need to do in your CV and in your cover letter as well. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I believe you guys now can see my screen. So this is, that's not really the, I chose this morning the job vacancy that I'm going to do, but for some whatever reason, it disappeared from seek.com.au. So I had to choose something similar. The position that I was going to talk about was from an electrical engineer position. But as I mentioned before, it kind of disappeared. So for those ones on Instagram, you guys probably can't really see. I don't know if I will be able to kind of perhaps I'll see if I can get my screen here. Sorry about the mess. You guys can see my mess here. But let's see. That's what I want to show you guys, is this part here. So I think it's not the best arrangement. So if you can't go to YouTube, because YouTube, you will be able to see my screen. But if you guys on Instagram, I think now you guys can see my screen, where I'm going to be showing some of the good characteristics, or the characteristics of this job vacancy there. So just doing a little bit of a muck around. Yeah. All right. It's not the best arrangement, you guys, on Instagram, but probably it's better than nothing there. Okay, so let's have a quick analysis of this job vacancy here. So obviously, if you're not an electrical engineer, if you are a mechanical engineer or civil engineer, whatever, but the analysis will be the same. So the important things that you need to pay attention to a job vacancy, and then how you guys can translate to your CV and in your cover letter, it's going to be pretty much the same. So, and if you have questions, you can send a question, and then I will be in the middle of the live session. I will be checking the questions, and I'll be answering those questions there. So you can send the questions in the comments, please. Okay, so this one, how did I get to this position? It's a very basic search. Where is that? Very basic search in seek.com.au. You can see here, seek.com.au. The keyword is just electrical engineer. In this particular position that I chose, it's this one, electrical engineer junior. Why did I choose junior for tonight? Because a majority of you guys are probably going to apply for junior positions or graduate engineer position. So I chose this one there. So from BSc, which is this position here. Okay, so a few characteristics of this position here. Well, it's in Sydney, North Shore and Northern Beaches. It's a full-time position, and they don't really disclose the salary. It's under negotiation. You will be able to negotiate with them, and you can apply straight from the website. And let's have a look here. So electrical engineer junior, a fantastic opportunity to join our team and contribute to delivering a range of projects, scopes, and buildings. With local experience, you have a strong design understanding, are team and delivery focused, and have a positive attitude and passion for growth. So, as I mentioned in the last week, when you read the job description or the job advertisement, you need to pay attention to things that the employer is trying to tell you. So in this first paragraph, although it's just a short paragraph, but it tells a lot. The important things to highlight here would be the type of projects that you will be working on, the company works for. With local experience, so you can see that the company has an expectation that you probably have already some local experience, that you have Australian experience, and more importantly, local experience, which is from New South Wales or Sydney or North Shore and Northern Beaches, whatever. You have a strong design understanding. So obviously your design experience is very important. You are a very good team player. You focus on delivery. And remember that I mentioned last week about positive attitude and this passion for growth. This is all part of soft skills. So it's a company, it's a job that they are valuing soft skills as well. So let's keep going. You have outstanding attitude, ability to learn quickly, thorough technical understanding, and be confident communicating with clients, business partners, and contributing to our team's success culture. So again, a mix of soft skills and hard skills. They repeated again outstanding attitude because they said here positive attitude, and here they repeated you have outstanding attitude. So it means that in your resume and in your cover letter, and if you are fortunate enough to be shortlisted to an interview, you certainly need to demonstrate outstanding positive attitude. Obviously here, thorough technical understanding. This is pretty much your hard skills. You need to be able to demonstrate that you are good in electrical engineering. So you see that just in 2 paragraphs, there are a lot of things that you need to pay attention and you need to include in your CV and in your in your cover letter. Those ones in YouTube, I'm noticing that I've got more people now in YouTube. Obviously, I'm asking you to go to YouTube because I'm sharing the screen there. You guys, if you guys can just give me a feedback, if you guys can hear me all right and you have everything, if you can see okay in the screen, it would be good, please. And those ones in Facebook, I believe you also can see and can hear me okay. So if you guys can provide me a feedback, it would be good as well. So we keep going with the reading of this job vacancy, and then it's about you. You have 1+ years experience in an Australian building services consultancy or similar experience in contracting. So this dot point here, that is the local experience that they're talking about. So the local experience is experience in Australia. Yeah, John is asking Instagram to share my YouTube link. Yeah, I will type in there https:/YouTube. I'm just typing, sorry, youtube.com/c/Gerson Ida /live. Yeah, put in the comments the link to my YouTube channel so you guys can go there, and I hope that you'll be able to see. Yeah, thanks Jacqueline in YouTube for your feedback, and good to see you here. Okay, so second dot point, proactive and innovative approach to solutions. Again, another soft skills that is quite important, goes pretty much hand in hand with positive attitude and thinking more like with the right hand side of the brain. Routinely demonstrate your ability to build and maintain strong working relationships with the client, project team, and internal teams. Again, another soft skills, working relationship. Majority of the stakeholders, they will require very strong working relationships to build and to maintain working relationship. Tertiary qualifications in electrical engineering. They don't really say here if they want you already to be validated here in Australia already. Obviously, if you are validated, it's a plus. If you are a chartered professional engineer in Australia, is also obviously a plus. And remembering that in New South Wales, where this vacancy is, from 1 July this year, they started the registration for professional engineers. And I believe that the electrical engineer is part of the 5 categories of engineering that you need to be registered. The other dot point, excellent verbal and written communication skills. Another soft skills that they are exploring there. And the other dot point, proven project organization and time management skills. So you've got to be able to pretty much be a very good project manager there. And use latest technology, Revit, AutoCAD, BIM 360, etc., etc., etc. So Microsoft Office and OneDrive. Perhaps OneDrive usually is used to kind of working collaboratively in a team environment, digital team environment, or even remote working. So perhaps the company has a policy to work remotely, and certainly has a work procedure to work probably digitally as well. So roles, and we're going to come back here in this about you, because this is going to be important for your cover letter. Role specifics, electrical, power, lighting, communications, security, etc. Engineering, electrical engineering, design and documentation to scope expectations. Calculations and return briefs, report writing, multidiscipline coordination, client design meetings and site inspections, satisfy codes, standards, project and quality requirements. So this is pretty much the role of this electrical engineer junior. So these are the activities that the company is expecting that the successful candidate is going to perform. And then they talk about them a little bit. Building services engineers is a dynamic, client-focused professional engineering firm with an established reputation for delivering a diverse range of projects across commercial, residential, aged care, and government sectors, to name a few. Through our client-focused, enthusiastic, and result-oriented approach to building services, BSC provide our clients a partnering experience unlike the traditional engineering consultancies. Learn more about us at bsc.com.au. Again, as I mentioned last week, it's very important for you to go to their website, check what they do, check the type of projects that they are delivering now, and have a really good read on their website. See if you can find the mission statement, their values, their vision, who are the people that work there. Sometimes they have profiles, or the directors, or the CEOs, etc., or even some of the technical stuff as well. And have a look at them and see their profile. And because there's a good chance that if you go into an interview, some of them could be in the interview panel as well. And our commitment is to provide a positive, inclusive, and passionate workforce where you can develop and grow your knowledge and be recognized in your contribution to great project outcomes. And then for your application, if you want to apply for this job, you need to provide a CV and cover letter demonstrating your suitability. You got reference SELE 0721 in your cover letter. An application from SIG.com accepted. Follow applicable prompts. And for a confidential discussion, please contact this phone number. Well, we don't know. Perhaps this phone number is from the company themselves. Not sure. It could be from a recruitment agency. It could be from the company. So let's have a look. And I put in here, I'm going to show you now to share my screen where you can see my resume. So this is my resume, my CV. And then just to show you some important parts, obviously my CV is not tailored to this position, but I'm just going to show you the important parts of the CV. And first of all, I did this CV using Canva. So Canva is a platform that you can do some, how can I say, graphic stuff. So it's not just Word. I actually I use a template that I found in Canva, and then because I think in the end, it's more presentable, looks more professional, and I believe that the CV, when I do in this way, it will stand out, and then the recruitment panel or the person that is reading analyzing all the applications will probably stop and have a look at my CV as well. So important parts of the CV, obviously your personal data there. I like this template in Canva because I kind of can split in two parts. So the left-hand side, I put few things in terms of my skills and interests, the results achieved in structures, the results achieved in roads, obviously because I work with road infrastructure, and road infrastructure is pretty much structures and roads. So I put the main results that I achieved in the both areas there. And I have a little bit of my personal profile as well. And then in here, I started to put my work experience from the current, starting from the current one. And here, when you put your work experience, you also need to put some of the achievements that you actually did in that job. It's not just the role and the things that you did, but it's very important to include the achievements. So I put in here 2 work experiences there, and then I included my educational history. In this case, my bachelor degree, and then my post-graduation and my MBA courses here as well. So that's page 1. Page 2, I kept going with work experience, some other experiences that I had here in Australia and in Brazil as well. And then on the yeah, sorry. And then on the left-hand side of page number 2, I put my registration and membership as a Chartered Professional Engineer, RPQ, National Engineers Register, International Professional Engineer, etc., etc., etc. So if you guys have your engineering qualification validated already, it would be a good idea to include in there. If you're not a Chartered Professional Engineer or Registered Professional Engineer, you're probably not going to put it, but it's certainly important to put your validation here as an engineer. I also included some of my acting roles. In jobs here, sometimes you can be acting in a higher position when somebody goes on leave, or if there is a temporary position there, you can be acting in that role. So I ended up including there. That shows my capability in, for example, in executive positions and in higher level positions here. Employment overseas. I believe it's important when you have your employment overseas because people see that you are a multi-skilled professional, worked in different countries, and obviously being very resilient. And then I put here languages and hobbies and some of the references. But the important thing is that, as I mentioned before, my CV is tailored to infrastructure industry. So I have had already a lot of experience in many different industries. Residential, I'm a civil engineer. I had experiences in residential, commercial, industrial, infrastructure, consultancy, services, etc., etc., etc. So, but in my CV, because I am within the infrastructure industry, my CV is tailored to the infrastructure industry. In this case, let's go back to that position description or job advertisement. If I was going to apply for this position here, I'm just going to check if there are any questions there. Just checking YouTube. Sorry, Instagram. No questions there. Those ones on Instagram, I put in the comments the link to my YouTube channel because I had some issues with Instagram, so I couldn't really share my screen in Instagram. So if you can go to YouTube, it would be good. And those ones in YouTube, if you think that this content is interesting and can add value to you, I would like to ask you if you can give a thumbs up and hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, perhaps you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel to help my channel to grow and send my content to other people as well. Okay, so there are many things here that you need to include in your CV. First of all, your CV needs to be tailored. When we look at this position here, they value few things. They value local experience. So if you have local experience, it's certainly important to include in your CV that you have local experience. You can see that they are focusing a lot on positive attitude, outstanding attitude, communicating with clients, business partners, etc., which is soft skills. So any experience that you have or may have had in exploring your soft skills, you should include in your CV, and also you should include in your skills and interests, and also in the main results achieved as well. We can see here that they are asking for tertiary qualifications in electrical engineering. So in your education, obviously, you will be putting that you graduated as an electrical engineer. They're asking here proven project organization and time management skills and using the latest technology. So it's a consulting firm, so that's why they are asking for those tools as well. Thorough technical understanding. So it means that when you think about electrical engineering design, because this is probably a design job, obviously together with a project management job. So if you didn't really have a lot of design experience, probably is not the right job for you to apply. You need to read what sort of a job they are advertising and what sort of candidate they're expecting. If you're not really in this particular one from that design perspective, perhaps you don't apply for this one, because if you apply, you may probably not even going to get a phone call because you don't have a design experience, and that will give you a little bit of frustration. So sometimes I see people that they apply for whatever job they can find it, and once they don't hear even a phone call, they become very frustrated. So for you to manage your expectation, obviously, if you're applying for a job that you have really good chances to be shortlisted and get a phone call. If you don't get a phone call, obviously you get frustrated. But applying for a job that is for a design job when you don't really have design experience, pretty much just wasting your time. Okay, so that's for the important things that you need to put in your CV. And then in your cover letter, I will share my screen again, and I'll be showing one example of my of a cover letter. Okay, so this one, I found this one. It's a bit dated, but it's a job that I got shortlisted, and with the Brisbane City Council, Contracts and Structured Services Manager. So, and here you can see I have the initial paragraphs with my introduction. And then you will see that in the next page or two, I've got some headings: leadership, business operational capability, technical capability, executive services. So those headings, they probably what we call selection criteria or key competencies. And then you will see that under each heading, I ended up writing examples where I addressed those competencies. So let's go back to that job vacancy and see if they ask for selection criteria or if they ask for key competencies. Usually there are some job description and as a Word document or a PDF, and in that job description there's usually the selection criteria or the key competencies. But in this job advertisement, there's no attachment, there's no job description. So you will need to kind of extract from the job advertisement what are the key competencies or selection criteria that they are after. So if I was going to apply for this position, I would probably, going back to my cover letter, I'm probably going to keep initial 3 paragraphs, obviously tailoring to that position, talking a little bit about myself, my skills and capabilities, and how I can kind of contribute to that company, to BSE. And then when I start talking about the key competencies, here I've got leadership, but I would put here, probably as the first one, you got to think, because they don't really have the selection criteria, you got to try to think what are the areas that they are trying to emphasize here. So by reading this job advertisement, I would say that attitude, because they talk about positive attitude, outstanding attitude. So I believe that if I was you, I would put here, instead of leadership, let's say here, I will put positive attitude in the workplace. I will put something like that. Positive attitude in the workplace. And then I would write here a paragraph where I can provide some examples about positive attitude and outstanding attitude in the workplace. And obviously it needs to be your case, but positive attitude, what is that? Positive attitude is when you obviously work very well as a team. You try to go beyond what you are asked for. You listen with attention to what others they have to say. When your boss talks to you, you are listening actively. You are processing the information. You are providing suggestions. You're not just bringing issues to the company. It's okay to bring issues, but when you bring issues, you usually also offers options to resolve those issues as well. So a person or a professional with a positive attitude is the one that's not really just how can I say, a dead weight to the company. It's okay to bring issues again, but you bring issues, but also you offer solutions as well. You work as a team. You don't really have complaints that you don't work as a team. You don't understand the concepts of internal client and internal supplier, etc., etc. So you care with others. You care with what you're doing. You care with the company. It's not just about your own area, but it's about the whole company. So I would include positive attitude in the workplace as part of the key competency. The other probably competency would be, because they talk about here the role specific, electrical engineering, design and documentation to scope expectations, and they are very specific about power, lighting, communication, security, etc. So probably as a second selection criteria, I would put here electrical engineering knowledge. I would include here as a second competency, electrical engineering knowledge. And then obviously I'm gonna change here, and in there I would provide an example of a design project that you did, which covers power, lighting, communication, security, etc. Using one of those technologies as well, because if they say that they're expecting you that you know how to use those latest technology, I will put under this competency. I can demonstrate this criteria when I've designed what did they say? When I've designed a power substation project, etc., in South Australia or in New South Wales, whatever, 38 kVA power substation that comprised this and that, etc., whatever is that electrical engineers you guys do, and the results achieved were those ones, and my role was this, etc., and I used Revit, AutoCAD, etc., to do the design plans, etc. So really use a very strong example exploring your electrical engineering skills. There are some questions here in YouTube. Dolapo, thanks Dolapo. The question is, what if all your previous experiences were overseas? Then shouldn't bother applying? Yeah, that's a very good question, Dolapo. I would still apply, especially if your overseas experiences they are matching with the role specifics. If you are an electrical engineer, in this particular one, obviously, if you are an electrical engineer with experience overseas in power, lighting, communication, security, etc., etc., I still would apply. But you need to think why is the company asking for local experience? And they ask you for local experience, especially with the design, because you need to be aware of the local design standards. You need to understand that designs, they gotta be compliant with the local design standards, technical specifications and standards. So if your experience is from overseas, that's okay with that. But what are you doing to keep yourself updated with local designs? Are you studying local designs? Are you aware of the local standards? Do you participate in groups where they discuss the current standards in your local state? You got to remember that each state, although there is the Australian standards and everything else, but each state will probably have their local standards. So I certainly encourage you guys to always be looking for what is the state standards for the type of engineering that you guys are going to be working with. For example, I work with infrastructure, roads and bridges, etc., etc. If I am a civil engineer wanting to get a job in the infrastructure industry in Queensland, I would go to the Department of Transport and Main Roads website, and they have a section just with the technical standards and the TMR standards, the Transport Main Road standards for road construction, design, and everything else. I would go there and I would read as part of my professional development. I would read all those standards and familiarize myself with the standards of Queensland if I want to get a job here in Queensland in the infrastructure industry. So not having local experience is not your fault, because you're trying to get a chance to get a job, so you can get local experience. But you need to be able to demonstrate that you are doing something. If you go to an interview, they're probably going to ask you, what do you know about the local standards? And you need to be able to demonstrate that you at least you know about them, you read most of them, you are familiarized with those standards. If you go to an interview and say, sorry, I just have a overseas experience, I don't know anything about the local experience or local standards, you haven't even showed that you have an interest to learn or to be familiarized with that, unfortunately you're not going to be successful. There was another question there. Yeah, the message disappeared. Sorry. Okay, it's clear now. Yeah, thanks, Dalapo. All right, so let's keep going with what would be important in the cover letter. So we have two competencies that we probably in this particular job advertisement we would include. Positive attitude in the workplace, because this job advertisement here, they talk about positive attitude here. You have outstanding attitude. And then the other, obviously those ones that arrived now, you got to change You got to change the middle there. You got to tailor to your experience. The other competency that we identified was electrical engineering knowledge, because in this job advertisement here, it says that you got to have a tertiary qualification in electrical engineering. You got to have electrical engineering design and documentation, etc. You got to satisfy codes, standards, project quality requirements. You got to use latest technology, etc. So another competency that I believe that they are putting very strongly here, it's about be confident communicating with client business partners. They talk about communication there. They talk about excellent verbal and written communication skills in there as well. They talk about maintaining strong working relationship with the client. And here, return briefs, etc. So I think that the other key competency that we would put in our cover letter would be communication skills. Communication skills and stakeholder relationship. So I would separate and put another soft skills there, communication skills and stakeholder relationship. And then in here, you would give an example or examples of when you can demonstrate that you had really implemented your communication skills and stakeholder relationship, because you can see that they are focusing quite strongly in communication and also with stakeholder management. So certainly I would include in there as well. And also I think there's probably another area that you could include as part of your key competencies, which is project management. As an engineer, having a very good project management skills is probably going to impress the recruiter as well. So in here, I would put project management skills. So, and then I would include in here a very good example where you have applied or implemented your project management skills, covering the 10 areas of the project management according to PMBOK, for example. And I think that for now, for a junior engineer, 4 competencies probably okay. And would finalize the cover letter saying that you have attached a copy of the CV, and you would be welcoming opportunity for an interview, etc., etc., etc. So you can see that what's going to sell you for them to be able to shortlist you is going to be the strong examples that you're going to give under those 4 competencies. Positive attitude in the workplace, electrical engineering knowledge, communication skills and stakeholder relationship, and project management skills. So as you can see, this cover letter is quite different from probably what you guys saw or what you guys did, because usually what you guys do, and I can say that because I already analyzed hundreds and hundreds of applications in my 15 years here in Australia. So I see that a majority of you guys, when you're writing your cover letter, you don't really separate in key competencies. You just write one or few paragraphs there, and then you include everything mixed up in the middle of your paragraphs. And you need to remember that recruitment companies, just go back to this one there. You just need to remember that recruitment agencies, when they are advertising for positions, they're probably going to get, just going to go back here now. Yes, those ones on Instagram. Sorry, but I had technical issues and I couldn't really share my screen with you guys. So that's why I was showing my computer. So you need to remember that recruitment agencies will be analyzing several dozens, 50, 60, 70 applications. And your CV and your cover letter needs to stand out. So that's why I use Canva. I don't know if you guys use Canva or not. I'll leave I'll get the, where is that? I will leave the link for you guys. Where is the link? Yeah. So I'm putting the link in YouTube and also putting the link in Facebook. So I use Canva, which is a free platform. You don't really pay anything for that. Well, I don't. You can pay. There are things that you can, some templates that they're premium templates, but I just use the free version. And I use my cover letter and my CV every time that I need to do. I use Canva. So the thought behind that is that the document being different, it will catch the attention of the recruitment company or whoever is the person who is analyzing applications. So it will stand out, and the person will at least pause to have a look in the content. If you send your CV or if you send your cover letter just in a blank white document, is going to be the same as everybody else. So if you have a little bit of a background, if you have a little bit of a color, it's going to be slightly different. And then obviously what's matter is the content, but if the person doesn't stop to read your document, doesn't matter if you have a very good content. If the person doesn't stop to read it, it's not going to be good. So the cover letter, again, I think it's a document which is more important than the CV. You need to have a very interesting and a very good cover letter addressing competencies that the company is after. So in this example that we saw, there's no specific job description where they say what competencies or selection criteria they after. But that is your job as a job applicant. You need to try to extract from the job advertisement what are the key competencies, what are the selection criteria that is going to catch the attention of the person who is reading the document. And then your cover letter needs to address those key competencies with clear examples and good results, good outcomes that you achieved under those competencies. All right, guys, so that's what I was planned to do tonight. Was a little bit different live session tonight with a little bit of a tutorial. I would like to know what do you think about it. Next week, I'm going to have part 3 of the series, how to apply for an engineering job here in Australia. And next week, I'm planning to do hints and tips like a tutorial like today when you are shortlisted for an interview. So again, I'm going to choose a job vacancy. Perhaps I use this one that we explored tonight. But if you want to send me a job vacancy, you can send me I'm going during the week in my Instagram. I'm going to be posting some stories and asking job vacancies that you would like me to do this tutorial. I'm probably going to be doing a few times or a couple of times a month. So kind of helps you guys as well. And next week, I'm planning to do this part 3 of how to apply for an engineering job in Australia, with hints and tips how to behave in a professional interview. So if you are lucky enough to be shortlisted, what are the things that are important for you to come prepared? Let's say in this job vacancy as electrical engineer, what are the things that are important for you to get prepared, so when you arrived at the job interview, you can do a very good job interview. So I would like to know from you guys, especially those ones that since they were here since the beginning, what do you guys think about this type of live session, this type of tutorial? Is the first time that I do something like this. I don't know if you guys enjoyed or not. Was certainly different for me. A little bit more interactive. I didn't really kind of prepare any material for this. It was kind of on the spot. So there's a question here in Instagram. Would you recommend having a photo on your CV? Well, I don't have a photo in my CV. Would you? I don't think it makes any difference. What's your name? Sorry, is PD Prick? I don't know your name, but I don't think it makes a lot of difference if you have a photo in your CV. I receive, when we advertise for jobs, Ariel. Yeah, thanks, Ariel. When I receive applications, I receive CVs with photos, without photos. Does it make any difference when we are assessing? Probably not. Well, at least I don't. I don't really. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people think, oh yeah, if I put a photo, they'll see that I'm a little bit old, or etc., etc. You don't need a photo to do that, you know. We can see the age of people by for example, education background. If people say that they finish year 12 in 1990 or 1989, like me, we know that the person is close to 50 years old. If people, they graduated at university, if you are an engineer and if you graduated in the mid-90s, when you graduated in the mid-90s, you're probably around mid-20s. So now after 20-something years, we're at least mid-40s. So if you don't want people to realize your age, and here we don't really discriminate because of age, because of gender, because of background. Yeah, Marielle can be a practice in the Philippines, but you know, here in Australia, I don't think it matters. Recruitment agencies and companies and myself, for example, when I am going to shortlist people, I go to their LinkedIn. And have a look at their professional profile. I can see their experience, how they do, etc., etc. And companies, they do that. They go to and they check your Facebook, they check your Instagram, they check your LinkedIn. So again, don't post things on Facebook and Instagram that you don't want your future employer to know. So yeah, with social media nowadays, it's really easy. So yeah, just a little bit of a hint. Um, in YouTube, yeah, thanks, Jacqueline. Nice content. Thank you for the feedback. Dolapo, thanks, great session. Need to work more on my resume and cover letter. Yeah, that's for sure. Resume and cover letter is not a document that you just kind of do a generic one and then you kind of shoot like a machine gun and send to everybody. You need to work for each job vacancy. You need to tailor your documents. All right then, and just like to remind you guys that if you are interested in participating in my free online workshop about engineering qualification validation here in Australia, my next workshop is going to be in September, starting the September the 5th. It's going to be on a Sunday, 10 a.m. And the workshop is going to be named I Want to Become an Engineer in Australia. So that's the name of the workshop. If you're interested, those ones on Instagram, you can go to my bio. There is a link there. When you click on that link, it will open up a few buttons the first button you can click in there, you can register yourself. For those ones on YouTube, engineersinaustralia.com/free workshop. For those ones in YouTube, the link is in the comments and Facebook as well. All right, I would like to thank you guys very much for your participation and attendance. And don't miss next week, 8:30 p.m. Sunday, Brisbane time, part number 3 of the live session, how to apply for an engineering job here in Australia. We're going to talk about hints and tips for when you participate in a professional interview. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.